I mean, at this point, are we even shocked anymore? Are we even shocked? Florida man finds alligator in his living room. In his living room. Now, this is taking place in Gateway, Florida. I want to hear the story, but at this point, like it says on the video on the screen right now, routine. This is why I can't do Florida. I can't live in Florida. I can vacation down there, but listen, we're going to get to it. Listen, you know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
Paul Quinn will never forget what happened to him Sunday morning. Instead of doing his usual routine, checking his email, he was being checked out by a gator inside his home.
I'm like, is that really an alligator in my living room? And then he saw me and he started running. I'm like, oh crap, I got to deal with this today?
Oh, he's got the chip.
You clearly see this guy didn't want to leave. But how did it get inside?
The Quinns tell me that they usually leave their doors open to get some extra breeze inside. The alligator wanted to make itself at home, busting through this screen and causing a commotion.
But this won't stop the Quinns from what Florida has to offer.
I don't want to have a fear of an alligator just walking up our front walk into our foyer again. I can't live like that. I live in Florida. I love living here. I'm not leaving.
Paul Quinn will...
If you live in... We're talking about Florida, y'all. Florida, known for gators. Heck, even one of the college teams, which is my favorite college team, it's who I root for, is the Florida Gators. Why are you down there leaving your door open? I don't care if you had the screen closed. You leaving your door open in Florida? You invited them in. The gator was like, don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Ain't no way I'd be leaving my door open in Florida. I don't care what type of breeze you trying to get. Yo, this is, no. I could never leave my door open in Florida. Anytime somebody come through my door, I'm looking. Hey, shut that door. Hey, shut that door behind you. So you hear echoing through my house all the time in Florida. Shut that door.
Severe weather overnight, at least 23 reported tornadoes across 4 states in the Midwest and South, with a rare high-risk warning for violent tornadoes in Alabama and Mississippi later today. Let's get right to ABC's Matt Rivers in Villa Ridge, Missouri. Good morning, Matt.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. You can see some of the damage here behind me left behind by this violent string of storms that we saw across this area. This is the backside of a convenience store, Gio. This is also a Burger King here, and this is just some of the damage left behind after a tough day of severe weather.
Overnight, a deadly weather outbreak, violent dust storms, wildfires, and a string of tornadoes ripping across the country. In Texas, at least 4 people dead after a blinding dust storm swept through the panhandle. Wind gusts hitting 84 miles per hour, visibility near zero. Watch as the powerful winds knock over tractor trailer after tractor trailer in Amarillo.
There goes another one.
And it not only knocked them over, it kept sliding them across the road, bro. That's way too powerful. Like, I've driven in some things, some snowstorms and things like that, but I ain't never felt no wind like that. No, bro. It's not worth it, man. Tell your fleet manager, because that's what we used to call our fleet managers. Tell your fleet managers it's unsafe for you to drive, bro. Don't let them pressure you to get that load delivered. It ain't worth it.
Just north of Abernathy, these semis left laying on their sides. On I-27, up to 20 cars wrecked in this multi-vehicle pileup, barely visible against the dust. The wind fueling these grass fires, quickly spreading to homes as firefighters rush to the scene trying to save them. This roof torn from a building.
Oh, my God.
And in Missouri, video from inside this car capturing the moment a suspected tornado barreled through Rolla. At least 5 touched.
Like, sitting in your car at a gas station while you're actively in a tornado has got to be one of the most terrifying moments I've ever seen somebody have to suffer through or endure. At a gas station? Now, if something hit the pump or something over there and it boom, like, what can you do? Where can you go? You can't get out your car. You can't drive away. Like, man, see, this is why I don't go nowhere.
Down, leaving buildings in ruin. 155,000 customers without power across the state. And in Oklahoma, the sky an eerie orange. Nearly 150 fires reported, the flames fanned by fast-moving winds. This home left in ruins. The dangerous conditions prompting evacuations. The firefighter medics aboard this ambulance rushed to the hospital after it was involved in a multi-vehicle crash during a dust storm there.
What? Are you serious?
This man grateful the wind pushed the danger away from his home.
Thank God it's kind of blowing this way. It probably would have. You know, it'd probably been a lot worse.
And so just a very tough day here in Missouri. We'll get a better sense of the overall damage in this area when the sun comes up. But I fear that all of this could just be a preview of what's to come later on today, Gio, for those southern states now very much in the bullseye of a very strong storm system.
With breaking news that...
Listen, man, we had severe weather last night, bro, and it was so tough for me to go to sleep. I was tired, but I kept waking up in and out of sleep because the lightning was so bad. You know what I mean? Coming from that firefighter background, the first thing in your mind is lightning striking your home, the roof of your home, starting a fire. Now you got to be alert to make sure so you get everybody out the house. Like that's the things going through my mind. You don't know how many structure fires I responded to where it was caused by lightning. So it's tough for me to get a comfortable. I was up and down like last night, man. The wind was howling. It was rough. You know, things felt like it was hitting the limbs, looked like it was hitting the side of the house. I couldn't tell if the siding was flapping on the home or the shingles was making noises. I didn't know what it was, bro, but it kept me up. Super restless night. You know what I mean? But that's what it is when you're a parent and you worried about everybody's safety. Guess you just got to deal with sleepless nights. It is what it is. Bro, I've been in one of those like dust storms like that. Not as this intense, but visibility wise, I could hardly see the car in front of me. So I had to kind of slow back and slow down to almost a crawl. But that's a terrifying moment, man. When you can't see, you start to lose visibility. Yeah, that's rough. And it happened like all of a sudden, meaning I was driving down the road. I think I was in Arizona. I was taking a load to either California or somewhere. And it was, I think I was still training. I think I was still on a training truck. And we were running for Tropicana. So the load had to come from Florida to California. And I got somewhere over there and I hit, or we might have been leaving Cali. I don't remember. But I hit one of those dust storms. I think it was in Arizona, bro. Yeah, freaked me out.
Mr. President, obviously you're concerned. You're concerned about the situation in Gaza. What are the hopes now to get the hospital back?
She just became a big story tonight, right? Yes, sir. Did you see that?
Mr. President.
That's it. Tariffs on microphones now. I'm putting tariffs on microphones. Do you think y'all gonna get away with this? He should have turned into Denzel from Training Day. You think you could do this to me? Yo, you seen the look he gave? A little side-eye look? And the fact that he has the wherewithal to know that this is going to go extremely viral is hilarious to me.
It's not normal for a veteran to invert the flag. It's a statement right now. I did it not lightly. It took a lot of thought about it.
Retired Sergeant First Class Joy Marver earned her rank, serving 20 years in the Minnesota National Guard, beginning the year after 9/11. In May of last year, Joy began what she thought would be her final tour of duty, working as a support specialist with the Veterans Benefits Administration.
I felt a purpose again, and it wasn't for money. I loved the job. I was back with veterans, and veterans that understood me and everybody else, that the invisible wounds.
Everything was great until 3 weeks ago, when she got to work and sat down at her computer.
It said, "My access has been revoked. Seek administrator." Right then and there, I knew something wasn't right.
She was one of at least 1,400 people who were fired that day from the VA system. It was because she was 2 months shy of being done with her probationary first year on the job. She left the VA and got, until she saw out of the corner of her eye the VA hospital. She drove into that lot instead and walked in to the crisis clinic. By the end of the day, Joy was home, safe, but in distress. And so she said so without saying a word.
It's not normal for a veteran.
Now, first of all, salute to all the veterans. Let's just start by saying that. Second, how do you guys feel as veterans? I'm speaking to the veterans. How do y'all feel about that? That flag is a big deal. And more so to the veterans and those who serve. You know what I mean? It's a big deal to everyone, but to them more so. How do y'all feel with seeing a flag upside down, an inverted flag? How do y'all feel about that? That's who I want to hear from. That's who I want to understand. How does that make y'all feel to see that? Are y'all upset with her? Are you understanding where it comes from? Like, a fellow brethren is feeling this way so much so that they invert the flag? Like, that's who I want to hear from in the comment section. I'm looking for that. Looking for y'all's response about this. This is interesting, man. This shows you the signs of the times that we're in. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never witnessed someone invert a flag. Can't remember seeing that. No.
Donald Trump is set to ban people from 43 countries from traveling to the U.S., with visas from Russia being sharply restricted. The dramatic memo also sees key allies of Moscow placed under heavy sanctions, as Belarusian travelers could see their dreams of traveling stateside slashed, the New York Times reports. The explosive immigration proposals come as the U.S. president is wrestling with Putin and Zelensky over a ceasefire in Ukraine, warning last night that World War III could very easily erupt if peace talks fail. Alongside the warring state, a vast swathe of nations from across the globe have been told their governments have 60 days to address deficiencies, or they will remain on the list. A memo shows countries divided into 3 separate groups, including full visa suspensions and partial suspensions. Many are from the Middle East and Africa, with Afghanistan, Cuba, Iran, and North Korea among the 11 who face the most drastic measures. In the second group, 10 countries would face partial suspensions that would impact tourist and student visas, as well as other immigrant visas, with some exceptions. And in a third group, a total of 22 countries would be considered for a partial suspension of U.S. visa issuance if their governments do not make efforts to address deficiencies within 60 days, the memo said.
That's what should scare you. It does me. It scares me about being in one of them high-rise hotels, or even if you living in a high-rise. You're always subjected to, dealing with somebody else's problem. Somebody else's problem becomes your problem. Somebody has a fire in their kitchen, now it could affect you. If it's below you, that's scary because it's coming up. If it's above you, you might have a shot. Below you still have a shot, but it's the the numbers are different. The probabilities are different when it's like that. That's what's scary about them. I love high rises. Don't get me wrong. The views are beautiful. That's what it's about. But that's just like living in a duplex as well. You ever lived in a duplex? And if you lived in a duplex, then there's a firewall that separates y'all. And when I used to live in one, they used to be written on how long the firewall rating was for that wall. How many hours or whatever it was, it would be written on there. I think the one I lived, it was like an hour or two or something like that, a couple hours, something like that. The firewall rating was. That's scary, bro. That's scary. Even though an hour is a pretty good amount of time for you to get up out of there, but let's just say you didn't wake up. Stuff like this, man, it keeps you up at night thinking.
Did you get a chance to see it? The blood worm moon was shining above Southern California last night. For those who tuned in, the Griffith Observatory had a live broadcast of the total lunar eclipse. They live streamed the moments when all the world's sunrises and sunsets were cast onto the face of the moon. It's been more than 2 years since the last lunar eclipse, which was also a blood moon. The next time the Northern Hemisphere will see a lunar eclipse is next year. Did you get a chance to see it?
If you're insured by State Farm, be prepared to pay a lot more for your homeowner's insurance. California's top insurance regulator today approving an emergency request by State Farm to raise premiums by 22% for about 1 million customers. The company requested the rate hike to help it rebuild capital following the recent wildfires. State Farm says it hopes the rate increase will prevent them from being forced to drop more policies in the state. If you're insured by...
Man, nobody don't want to hear about premium increases. We don't. No. We want to hear about claims. Were the claims pushed through that people have been filing ever since these fires has happened and different things have happened? Are the claims being... That's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear nothing about an increase. They've increased enough. They shouldn't even be allowed to increase. What are you talking about? Hear about a 22% increase. Give me a break. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hey, man, it's just frustrating to hear that the audacity of them to have increases at a time like this.
So I've jumped in a car, I'm getting a lift, I'm in China, we're doing some stories in Hangzhou, and I've realized that the driver, Tao is her name, that she is currently behind the wheel of a driverless car. Do you feel safe in this car?
Yes.
You do. Why do you feel safe?
I believe in technique.
You believe in technology?
Yeah, technology.
You believe in technology. Changing lanes by itself speeds up. All right, so you've been driving this car now for 2 months. We've changed lanes multiple times. The steering is a little bit funny. At times, it looks like we're heading into the wall, but it corrects itself.
He won't change the line, but he can't do it. He will ask me to help.
Oh, it asks for your help.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can override it.
Sometimes, for example, he want to change lines to this line, but there are too much cars.
Too much traffic. See, that is when it gets a little bit too close. But it corrects itself. So we're at a huge intersection. I'm just going to turn the camera around, as you can see. Okay, there are multiple lanes of traffic crossing this intersection. And Tao, you're not touching the wheel. Are you going to touch the wheel? You're just going to touch it, but you're not going to steer it. Yeah, she's not going to steer it. So we're all turning left. There are 2 lanes of traffic turning left, and now it's just slowed down. Okay, we've gone past the traffic, now going forward. And this is how people are getting around China. It's quite extraordinary. Now, this was obviously something that Elon Musk was trying to do with Tesla here in China, but the government has not given him permission to have driverless cars, driverless systems. But I think what this shows is that China is making leaps and bounds in AI technology, and it's now just becoming part of everyday use.
I don't think that it's ready for like nobody behind the wheel, because even like she said, it wanted to change lanes, but it had to get permission from her, and cars were over there. Like, I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're there. We're close, but I don't think we're quite there for just like, even remember the video of the dude who was trying to get to the airport, and he was in one of those self-driving taxis, and a problem happened, and it was just circling him around the parking lot. Remember that? Like, I think we're close, but we're just not there yet. And then if you've never been inside one, I've never been inside one where nobody was in the seat, but I have driven like one with like Super Cruise. So you drive like a SUV that has like Super Cruise, and when you turn it on, first of all, I was looking for the camera, because normally there's like a little camera or a sensor or something that's paying attention to your eyes. So if you look away for too long, it'll come out of like Super Cruise mode. It'll alert you that it's coming out of Super Cruise mode and tell you to grab the wheel and take over. Your eyes were off of the road too long. You know what I mean? That's one. Number 2, it's scary. If you've never done it before, the first few times you do it, it's nerve-wracking, because it's not doing it the way you would normally do it. So when you hit the signal light for it to change lanes, because it won't change lanes by itself, so you have to hit the signal light, and then it'll start to change lanes. But when it does it, and when it finally centers itself, it's like you keep going. I'm like, all right, any minute now, bro, you can stop getting over. It's like like she said, you're going towards a wall. It's nerve-wracking, man. It is. You have to. It's gonna take some adjustment for us to get used to it. But you might as well start now, because I don't think it's going nowhere. I think it's here to stay, and this is what it's gonna be, bro. This is exactly what it's gonna be. So think about that, man, or start trying now to get accustomed to where we're headed with these things.
Federal investigators are looking into what caused an American Airlines plane to catch on fire in Denver. Pilots reported engine problems minutes after the plane took off from Colorado Springs en route to Dallas Thursday. 178 people were on board. The flight diverted to Denver. About 6 minutes after the plane landed, fire erupted and screaming passengers scrambled to escape the flames. At least 12 people were rushed to hospitals with minor injuries. Federal investigators are looking.
Like they need a new maintenance team, or whoever is doing maintenance on their engines, or I don't know. They need some new fresh faces, some new people. because we keep seeing these fires, fam. Something's being missed. Something's not being checked on the checklist. I don't know. The maintenance that's being done on them is not doing it in an adequate way. Something's wrong. But everybody I'm talking to saying they ain't trying to go nowhere. They ain't trying to fly for a little while till they get this under control. And they know the numbers. And they know the numbers are less than previous years. They still not feeling it. So, I don't know. I think these airlines are going to have to come down on ticket prices to start getting people back. You know, maybe if you see a $10 ticket from here to Vegas, from the east to the west coast, that might get people back. Like, you know what? I'll take my chances. That price right there, $10 for me to get over there. I got to at this point. I gotta take that. I gotta take advantage of that. So maybe they're gonna have to drop the prices significantly for us to want to start back trying to fly again.
There's an overwhelming sense of uncertainty looming over Hannah Contreras' future.
This has made a permanent lump in my throat.
Her monthly federal student loan payments skyrocketing.
My student loan payment has gone up $905
every month. While it might sound like something a loan shark would do, doubling or tripling payments without notice, it's actually because of a dramatic change at the Department of Education. Not from staffing cuts, not even DOGE, but a broad interpretation of a court order. Some student loan repayment plans based on income are suddenly halted, affecting 13 million borrowers, according to the National Consumer Law Center. It's all in response to ongoing litigation over what the Biden administration called the Saving on a Valuable Education, or SAVE plan, where monthly payments are based on income and family size, an attractive option for millions of graduates just getting started.
Borrowers who've made the required number of payments in the SAVE plan would normally be eligible to have their remaining balance canceled.
Last year, several conservative-leaning states challenged the plan, saying it would require spending up to $475 billion not authorized by Congress. And a recent temporary order by the Eighth Circuit Court in Missouri broadened the scope of the case to some other income-based plans, too.
In response to the court order, the Department of Education, without any explanation, simply pulled down all of the applications for the income-driven repayment plans.
We reached out to the Department of Education for comment, but have yet to hear back. On the website, it says applications are temporarily unavailable due to the court's injunction. Consumer law experts like Abby Safroth say the DOE is going further than it needs to.
It could keep allowing borrowers to apply for and to stay in the other plans.
Now Contreras, with her monthly payments soaring and no increase in salary, is trying to figure out what's next.
I did everything I was supposed to so that I could be in the desk I'm in right now. And yet I may have been better off doing something different.
She's a mother of two with a master's degree. Today, she's working as a therapist in a community mental health clinic in Oregon. She says it's important work, but it doesn't come with a...
Shoot, it looks like she's going to be the one that needs the therapy. Going up $900 unexpectedly is insane. Savagery. Who could just pick up a extra $900 tab right now with everything being the way it is, without no pay increase or nothing like that, bro? I've been saying, man, this whole student loan situation has been screwed up since the jump, and everything that they've tried to do to fix it hasn't helped, it seems, because it's still problem after problem. I hate it for people that are dealing with this, bro. I hate it for it. Either we're going to do away with it, start fresh, or they're going to figure something out to help these people out that they've lied to and told them that they would be able to do this, encourage them to take out these loans, knowing what they were going to do to them. Because I feel like they were setting them up from the jump. That's what I feel like. I feel like they were setting them up, offering them, no, you'll be fine, get your schooling. That's the most important thing. They lied to these people. Get your schooling. Don't even worry about that, because you're going to get a great job and then you'll be able to slowly tackle this thing. No problem. That's how they lie to you.
Large paycheck.
I can pay the loans. I never said I couldn't pay them. I just said I need to be able to do it in the ways we were told when we were 18 that we would be able to.
Contreras and many more look.
See, that's how they get. It's like you were dealing with used car salesmen with these loans. That's how they was out there pitching them. I remember, bro. And thankfully, I didn't take them. But boy, did I think about them the way they was pitching them. And you're talking to 17, 18, 19-year-olds. Getting them to do this stuff.
Looking for clarity as their options seem narrower than ever.
Rahema Ellis is joining us now. So, Rahema, what are the options now for borrowers like Contreras?
Well, they're not great for many people, but we should say those who are under the Biden-era income plan, they already have an option, and that is that their payments have been paused since last year with no interest accruing, and that's a result of the lawsuit that has been, we talked about earlier. But those borrowers who are part of some other options, payment plans, well, they can also have their payments paused. But, Hallie, here's the rub. The interest continues to accrue month after month after month. So that means that they're going to owe a lot more money at the end of all of this when they finally do make a payment.
Oh, you might as well go somewhere and try to give blood and get this thing paid off. That, like, what else are you going to be able to do? Because they making it to where you'll never get to the end of the line. You'll never get to see that last interest just keeps securing. Yeah. No, this is set up, bro. This is a setup.
And you have to ask yourself, people have to ask themselves, what are they going to do? Do they find the money from somewhere, dig deep to find the money to make the payments now and to make so the interest stays reasonable, if you will, or to pause the payments? Those interest payments go up and they're going to have to deal with a much bigger bill down the road. Hallie?
Rahema Ellis, thank you very much for that reporting.